My name is Owaiz Dadabhoy, and I'm the Director of Islamic Investing for Saturna Capital, home of the Amana Mutual Funds. And today I'm talking to Patrick Drum, who's the portfolio manager of the Participation Fund. We launched this fund in 2015. We had 3 different funds at the time. They're all equity mutual funds. This one is very different. What was the reason a participation fund which invests in sukuk, why was this introduced?
Good question. And it was a question I think you in part and quite a few others in the community have been long-term asking is there a way that we can serve the community with capital preservation rather than capital appreciation? And the stewardship of the income fund and the growth fund clearly have served the community well, but at the end of the day, it invests in equities. And equities may not be appropriate based on client's age and stage. And so this provides them a means of being diversified and consistent with honoring their faith.
You mentioned that this is different. How does it behave differently than the equity funds?
Sukuk are structured like bonds. They tend to have maturities, credit ratings, and stated coupons, just like conventional. They have a lot of the investment characteristics similar to fixed income. And it was intentionally designed by the Muslim community for the Muslim community to adhere to these principles.
How is a sukuk halal? How is it that a sukuk is similar to bonds? It has bond-like characteristics, but there are some qualities in it that make it very different in terms of the Islamic experience or the Islamic Sharia compliance of it.
First is risk sharing. This is part of the Islamic principles of avoiding guaranteed contracts that are debt-like. Part of risk sharing means that you're sharing both in the potential for profits as well as the risk for loss. There can be no guarantees of any kind. Another important aspect is understanding that where the returns or the income or the profit that's being derived from these securities are derived from a particular service or business. So there has to be tied to something.
So a bond is debt-backed.
Correct.
And a sukuk is either asset-based or asset-backed.
Correct.
And these points that you mentioned make sukuk different than bonds, even though people look at them like bonds, but they are vastly different. In addition to what the Sharia scholars have to opine on each sukuk that is offered, what Saturna Capital does is reviews all of the 4 portfolios on a quarterly basis, and each of these sukuk get reviewed again by the Sharia advisor.
Correct.
Many of the securities in the participation fund are issued in the Middle East and in Malaysia, and you just got back from a trip from that region. Tell us a little bit about the trip, why you were there, and what you learned.
Right. Part of our team is based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So part of my role is to visit the team, continue to serve our clients in that region, visit some of the issuers that we work with as investors, as well as the broker-dealer community and the overall investment community. Part of the process is having feet on the ground. We have feet on the ground in Malaysia. We have members of our team who regularly travel to the Middle East, and part of my job is also to oversee that process. It is continuing to build relations with those issuers to understand really what's going on, and not just depend on what you see and you read on the internet or on the news or news statements, but to sit and talk to the management.
It was great to talk to you, Patrick, as usual. Thank you very much for spending the time with us.
It's a pleasure to work alongside with you always.
Please consider an investment's objectives, risks, charges, and expenses carefully before investing. To obtain this and other important information about the Amana Funds and a current prospectus or summary prospectus, please visit www.amanafunds.com or call toll-free 1-888-732-6262. Please read the prospectus or summary prospectus carefully before investing.